Manga.
When I was in college, 5 of my friends and I used to drive and travel together. I have my own car, and I'm the only one with a driver's license, so I do all the driving. I didn't mind being the driver because I liked driving. When I filled up the gas in the morning, I picked everyone up at their house and refilled the gas on the way home, and my 4 friends split the cost of that. I was willing to give them a ride because of that arrangement, but then, one day, things took a turn. It was when we traveled far away. It was far away, so gasoline cost more. But Ako didn't like that.
It's hard for the 4 of us to split the cost of this trip. Watashi, you should split the cost with us as well,
she said. Then Biko immediately.
That's not good. She takes her car out every time, and she drives on top of that.
She backed me up, but Ako was not convinced.
But you know, if you include the highway fare, wouldn't it be the same if we took the train? I appreciate the driving, but I still think Watashi gets more out of it if you think about it in terms of hourly wage.
What do you mean? No one is benefiting from it. Watashi pays insurance and taxes on her car too, so there's money involved that you don't even see. And if you take 5 people on a long trip, the car will probably wear down, so if anything, Watashi's the one who's losing out. So we're just grateful that we only have to pay for gas.
Everyone but Ako understood, like Biko, that it was expensive and difficult just to have a car. By the way, it was also Biko who suggested paying for the gas by splitting the cost, except for me. At first, I was reluctant to say, it's fine, but then she said that it would make it harder to travel in my car. I ended up accepting the proposal as is. After that, everyone said various things to Ako, but she kept repeating.
But...
And?
Because...
You have to drive with a lot of caution when you drive long distances with a lot of people in the car. And we all went on a trip together to relax, but she kept nagging, and by the end of the trip I was tired. And to be honest, it was annoying and frustrating. I don't want this to happen in the future, so I decided to make it clear that this wasn't going to work. Okay, then we'll split the gas money among the 5 of us.
What?
No, we can't.
It's fine. It's fine. In exchange, I won't let Ako in my car anymore.
What? What? We don't need your share for short trips, and the 4 of us will split as usual, so let me ride. I'm just asking because I didn't realize how much gas it would cost for a long drive this time.
I don't like that, because it's not clear what you would consider a short trip. Pay or don't ride. 2 options.
Okay, I'll pay.
Ako was very reluctant to pay, but eventually she agreed and then paid me. After that, we decided to go on another trip to a distant place. However, this time, when we were planning the trip, I asked Ako again about the cost of gasoline.
This time we're going farther than before, so it's going to cost more for gas. We're not going to ask Watashi to pay for it, so the 4 of us will split the cost.
What? Why don't we take the train then? Wouldn't that be cheaper?
I checked, and it's basically the same.
Besides, it's no fun to go straight to a destination by train. Isn't it fun to stop along the way and take various detours?
Well, that's true, but...
What are you going to do? Are you going by car? If gas is too expensive, why don't we do it some other time nearby? No pressure.
Okay, I'll go.
So we ended up going on another trip with the 5 of us, with Ako. When it came time to pay for the gas on the way home, Ako started to complain again.
I'm still not convinced. You don't have to split it, but shouldn't you at least put a little bit in, Watashi?
I was so upset when she said that. Then, Ako, you won't have to pay a penny this time. I'll pay. But in return, I won't give you a ride because I don't trust you anymore. Get off now. After saying that, I got out of the car alone and took Akko's luggage out of the trunk and left it at a rest stop at the gas station. Akko is still sitting in the car.
I'll pay! I'll pay you, so don't leave me!
I told you I don't trust you anymore. Come on, get out. And I opened the door on the side where Akko was sitting, and I tried to lead her out.
You're joking, right?
Of course I'm serious. Akko is still holed up in the car after all this. Hurry up and get out! And I screamed at her. Everyone was surprised because I usually never shout this loudly. Akko was also startled and got out of the car in a hurry. So I got into the car, put on my seatbelt, and started the engine.
At least take me home. I'll pay you.
Why don't you just take a cab? Are you going to complain every time I'm tired from driving? You ruin the fun trip every time, and I've had enough of that. That's why I'll never let you ride my car again.
Oh, please don't say that. Even the Buddha forgives 3 times.
Is she serious? I'm not Buddha. I'm just a human being. Bye-bye. And so, I drove off without her. From then on, almost every time we went out in the car, the 4 of us made plans to go out together. Since we went to college together, I tried to invite Akko to join us when we used public transportation until we graduated so as not to make waves. We lived in a rather rural area where it was inconvenient without a car, so we rarely traveled by public transportation, and our social interaction decreased dramatically. Then, it was senior year and summer vacation. Everyone had been offered jobs in the same prefecture. So everyone, including Akko, started going to driving school at the same time. And in the fall, they successfully got their licenses. So we talked about taking turns taking a trip in the car for our graduation trip, but my car is family only, so my friends can't drive. Akko is the one who said that the train is cheaper than gas and highway fees, so there's no way she would rent a car on top of that. For the graduation trip, we were to rent a car and to take a 2-night trip without telling Akko. In the end, we found out that rental cars cannot be driven by people who have less than a year's license, so we ended up taking a trip in my car driven by me. After graduation, Akko,
Wanna go on a trip once in a while? I'll drive too.
She invited us from time to time. I almost took her up on the offer, thinking that if she learned to drive herself, she might understand how I felt. But in the end, I reconsidered and said no, because people who don't pay for gas or are inconsiderate to drivers are often inconsiderate in their daily lives as well. After a year, Akko gave up, and she stopped contacting me altogether, and no one knows how she's doing. But one day, Siko found a post from a college classmate's social media which happened to mention someone who seemed like Akko. I went on a trip with a friend and we got cheated out of the gas money, on top of being nagged, so I had the worst time. Something like that was written. It had a few photos with Akko before that post, so it was definitely about her. Biko and I thought how nothing has changed with her. Not long after that post, Akko contacted me for the first time in a while. I don't want to see someone who has no manners. Send. I told her clearly, and we have been traveling with the 4 of us since then.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. What did you think of today's episode? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on today's story. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe.